and welcome to So You Want to Learn How to Crochet. My name is Mandy, and throughout this series of videos I'm going to be showing you some different stitches. The single crochet, double crochet, triple. They also have the popcorn stitch, and there's tons of other stitches I would like to show you. But first, before we start sewing your stitch, if you have never crocheted before, and crochet is a dying art, that you need to know what kind of needles to get. And you can see a crochet needle. You use one needle to crochet with, and this is a size K needle, and you can see the hook. It's actually it's a big hook. And this other one here, this is an I, and you can see the difference in the size of hooks. You know, maybe. There you go. You can see the difference in them. And I've got different size needles here, and this goes all the way down to this really small needle that I got, which is a 2.25 needle. You can see it's a really small needle. And you can get needles. I go to Walmart, and you can pick them up. They're really inexpensive. And this package is a 1 millimeter, and it's actually quite smaller. I haven't opened this one yet. But there's also different kind of yarns you can use. So this is, I would say standard, but I wouldn't know for sure. But this a 7-ounce yarn, and this is just the red heart yarn you can get at Walmart. And yarn comes in all different kinds. And look at this yarn here. I actually have made a few scarves out of this. This is a fun yarn. You can see it's got yarn wrapped around thread. Sometimes it's a pickle when you're crocheting and it gets messed up, but it's fun. All the way down to this thread yarn here, this is why I got the small, not tiny needle, which makes this stitches really small like this. And this is actually a double crochet that I did with it. This yarn you'd make like doilies and stuff like that out of. But I would recommend that if you've never crocheted before, to get a light color yarn, white, really light pink, anything, a light color yarn. For one, the stitches are really easier to see with a light color yarn, and it's easier to follow because there's some patterns that you have to count your stitches. Some you do not. I will throw this little bit of information in there that no one ever told me, is if you're going to make an afghan and you measure, I want it to fit my couch. Well, I made an afghan. I wanted it to fit my bed. I wanted it to be as tall as my husband, which is 5'9". So I chained, and I made this. I started crocheting it, thinking, it's going to be perfect for him to, cover up with, And by the time I got it done, it was way bigger than 5'9". It actually, I could put it on my queen size bed and fold it over, and I have 3 foot extra at the end. If you're going to make a big project like that, sometimes, even though you don't think it's going to grow that much, sometimes because of the way the stitches go, it may get a little bit longer than what you intended. So if a pattern calls for 148 stitches, and you start your crochet and you get a couple rows going, I don't think it's going to be very long. It's going to be the right size. It tells you how big it's going to be. But no one ever told me that, so I ended up with this huge afghan bedspread. And it's very hot. But I'm going to show you that the different size needles makes different size stitches. Now these are all double crocheted that I'm going to show you. Now this is a G, which is, I use this size a lot. You can see that this is the double crochet. Each individual row here, I don't know if you can see it right very good. This one here is an F. And you can see, I don't know how well you can see, but you can see that this one looks a little bit smaller in it. This one is a J, which is a bigger hook. Compared to this G here, it's actually, I don't know, you can't really tell, but it's a fuller. It's a lot fuller. It is a lot thicker than this one because it's a bigger hook. The stitches are kind of like fatter. I'm trying to get this where you can see it, and I'm not doing a very good job. There, you can kind of see it like that, but yeah. Different size needles, different size stitching. My pretty much go-to is the G, but I'm going to show you your needle. It has this right here, this little flat part. This one is actually helps to help you grip, to help you control the needle. And there's a certain way you do your yarn. You hold your yarn as well. It's not like knitting where you have two needles in your hand and you're not messing with the yarn. You just got the needles and you're going. I can knit, but I'd rather crochet. So we're going to start with our single crochet. You got your yarn. You want to take and fold it. Back up a little bit like this, and you have it, and you're going to twist it. You're just going to make a slip knot. But when you make your slip knot, this is something you want it. See, this is the end of it. You want to be able to move this, so when you pull, and it tightens. So, and you slip that in there. Okay, you see, gripping. I'm controlling. Now this is, so when I got a hold of it right here, I got it right here. And then I'm going to grab this little tail here. Now I can control, and I can control my tension, how much I want to give, how much I don't want to give, which if you have a lot of tension when you're crocheting, you're going to get really small stitches. If you don't have a lot and you get it really loose, your stitches are going to be really, really loose and that looking. You want to practice and find the happy medium tension. Now I've been doing this since I was about 13, 14 years old. My stepmother showed me how. I can say I'm well beyond that right now. So I've been doing this for many years, and I've kind of like, put it on there, let's go. And I don't even realize how I'm doing it. I was paying attention the other night, and I used my index finger as like the lever on a sewing machine. How your tension on the sewing machine. So we got this. We're going to start off with the chain. So I got it. I'm trying to explain as I go. It's just so much of a habit. I got it wrapped. I want you to see really good and how I'm holding it. I got my needle, my gripper spot. See how I can control? And then just make you're going to yarn over, wrap around, and pull it through. You got your first chain going. And then we're going to chain again. Pull it through. Now, this is your tension thing. You watch my finger. See? And I'm kind of like bringing it back in to give me that tension, that extra thread that I need, because I'm controlling my tension. And you're just going to keep doing this until you get as long as you want it to be. Now you see I got quite a few chains here, and now I'm kind of like, wiggly. What I usually do is I will come back up to the stitch right before that's on my needle. That way I can still have a lot of control of what I'm doing. I don't want it to be flip-flopping around while I'm trying to crochet. I mean, because you can't control it. So we're going to do it again. I'm going to do a few of these and bring it back up. I'm trying to keep my finger out of the way of the phone. See how I go. I think I'm going to do, I'm not counting. I'm just going. Okay. So we got a nice little chain here. See? So, and a single crochet. This is as long as we want it. So we're going to do one more chain. All right, so we have one chain. You're gripping it, and then you have a chain. So you're going to take, and you're going to come back through, not the stitch that's on, not the stitch you just did, the second one. And you're going to stick your needle right through there. And you're going to yarn over, wrap around, and pull that thread back through. And now you should have two hoops, loops on your needle. You're going to yarn over, wrap around, and pull that through those two stitches. And that, my friends, is your first single crochet. And we're going to do this all the way to the end. There's not that many, so it shouldn't take me that long. Just go to your very next stitch and stick it through, wrap it around, pull it through, wrap it around again, and pull it through your two that's on the needle. All right, now I want you to try and see here that this is in this one, so you've got two, and so your next stitch is actually right there. See if I can't show you how I'm sticking it through. I'm going through that one last stitch right there. I don't know how clear this is. And see, wrapping it around, grabbing it with the hook, bringing it back through, and I got two, and I'll wrap around. So I'm going to do these to the end here. Hopefully it won't take me that long. One little bit of information, that when you do buy your yarn, it comes in what's called a skeins, and you can work with the skein without putting it into a ball, but I would strongly suggest that you put it into a ball, that you take the extra few minutes and wrap it up into a ball. Start pulling from the inside of the skein. There's on each end there is thread that you can pull. It's a lot easier to control your yarn if it's in a ball. A lot easier to store it, and you have less chance of it getting all tangled up, and then you're having to ruin your project because you got to cut it, and you may lose some of the yarn because it may get in a big old giant knot. I've had that happen before, even just putting it into the ball. Okay, so I'm coming here to the end of this chain. I've got, okay, right here, I'm at my last stitch right there. So I'm going to take and put my needle, I don't know how well you guys can see this, through that last stitch. Yarn over, pull it through, you got two on your hook again, and pull it through. This is your first single crochet row. Alright, now you can do another row. So we're going to turn it, just flip it around. Get your little extra yarn going on here. Okay. Now, in order to start your next row, you got your needle grabbed, you got your yarn, see, and you want to control, and you got your tension going on. You're going to chain one, single crochet, you chain one. Now you're going to go not to the one that you did the chain in. You're going to go to this right here, not the first one. You can see there's one right there. You don't want to go to that one, or you're going to be adding a stitch to your row. Then you'll have to decrease it, and that I'll show you in another video. But just go to this second one right there, right here. I'll put my needle through it. You just stick your needle right there. You see it? And stick it in, wrap it around, and pull it through. Two on your hook, pull and pull it through. Now you've started your second row. And then you can see on this row, you have two threads here on top. Now there's a reason for you having two threads, and there's a different kind of stitch you can do. But for this time, you want to make sure you put your needle through both, that both of those are on the top part of, are on your needle, through your needle. Alright, don't just grab one of those, grab them both. There's a little hole you can go through, and just wrap it around, two on there, pull it through. And that is a very simple, very basic single crochet. See? And you just, it's kind of hard for me to do this. There we go. I mean, you can kind of see that it's taken form. If you are crocheting and you're doing your single crochet and you're going to turn and turn, and you get quite a bit of a, let me show you on this one, I'm going to take the needle out of it. You get quite a bit of a length going on here on the sides. You see how my sides are nice and straight? Now if at one point you did go to the very first chain, instead of skipping that chain, instead of having a nice straight line here, you'd go out, gain it, and it'd come, and you'd have another stitch. So you'd actually have your afghan, your pot holder, your scarf, or whatever it is you're making, go straight out and up, and you'd be making it longer and longer by doing that. And if you went too far in, let's say that when you was going to turn and you went, instead of to the second one like we did, let me show you. And then if you mess up, see how easy this is to do. Okay, so we are now at the very beginning of the row again. So get everything all where it's supposed to be. Okay, where we chained one. Now, if you went to this one, the very first chain, you would add a chain. You would make it longer. We don't want to do that. Now, the second chain is where we went. But if you was like, oh, I'm going to go to this chain, you're going to lose a stitch, and it's going to go in, and then you're going to realize you lost a stitch. You're going to add a stitch, and your afghan or whatever is going to look like an hourglass. So, plus, remember, let me do a few. If you're crocheting and it's like, oh, I'm crocheting, I'm chit-chatting, and I miss, look, here's my stitch, and I miss it, and I go to this one. Uh-oh. See how that puckered up? That is you losing a stitch, and now you just made it shorter. We don't want to do that. Make sure that you hit every single hole unless the patterns say skip, and there will be a video that I will show you how to read a basic pattern to make something. But this is a basic single crochet. I'll do the double crochet next, in the next video. But in the meantime, like this video, subscribe, and the red subscribe, hit that subscribe button, like my video, and go and buy you some yarn and a crochet needle and start to crochet. Teach it to somebody, because crocheting is a dying art. Alright, I thank you. Happy crocheting, and see you in the next video.